Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Hello, such a pleasure to be here. My name is Michal Cohen-Sagi. I'm calling from London today, based in London, UK. And I'm going to talk about that night in my life, that pain stroke, and my body just awakened back to respond and understand what can I do to live with this and actually maybe educate others to strive into health span and lifespan with longevity and wellness. When I go back to that night, it's quite fascinating how many details can you remember when you go back to a night that sudden pain comes in. That was Saturday in March 1995. The reason I know the date so well, because on the 5th of March 1995, I was supposed to start my biggest job in life. And I went to sleep actually quite early that night to kind of like get ready to that big corporate role. Around 2 a.m. in the morning, I felt like my right abdominals is just tearing apart. It was such a sharp pain, which I have never experienced before. I have to hold and say, I'm quite a healthy person ongoing. I grew up exercising, eating well. So pain was not something that I was very familiar with. And it was really, really, really strong. And I felt I could not move. My partner just took me to the hospital immediately. And the next thing that I remember, waking up from anesthetic, the first time I was under anesthetic, and seeing my mom there vaguely in the background and hearing the doctor telling her a word that I never heard before, a long, complicated word, endometriosis. And he said, she will not have children. I was only 24 years old, a baby. I kind of like heard it and vaguely and thought, I don't know what's that mean. I don't know what's endometriosis mean. I need to recover and I need to get to that job. So really my main focus back then was like, how do I get healthy as quickly as possible and run into that world of that's waiting for me out there. At the same time, so it took me quite quickly, 2 weeks I recovered. I started my great job. But at the same time, doctors and testing and looking and treatments. And I was thinking, they are taking control of my health. I had a really good memory of when I was a teenage. My dad lost his eyesight one morning while reading a newspaper and was diagnosed with diabetes. And then he changed his entire lifestyle. I'm talking the 80s. He had his listening to his curiosity of what caused that, and is there a way to change that? And he did. He lived greatly. When he was 91, he still traveled to Hawaii. So when I was thinking, if he could change the way he's living in order to avoid a disease that he had in his genes or overall, what can I do to change that? If I'll continue going and seeing more and more doctors, they give me more and more hormones that take me more and more out of balance, is there a different way? And this is kind of like, I feel like I inherited his curiosity of how do our body works? How can we make it different? And how can we do that when everyday life changes? And I remember being quite young and already, traveling around the world with my big corporate job. But at the same time, had that awareness of listening to the signals that my body gave in, thinking, why didn't I sleep well this night? Is it something I ate before? Is it the time I went to sleep? What's going on with my body? Why is why do I feel those stomach aches? Why is my period so horrible? Why? And then try to kind of like look at, how do I clean my body? I remember when that came out, I was back already around 26, 27 years old. And it was my first detox. I was like, should I just clean it all up? And then I remember going dry completely from sugar, from coffee, from milk. And I reduced things ongoing and started listening how my body react. I used to be running. I used to run marathons. And I was like, does it make sense to have a high job and still run and create that adrenaline ongoing? So I kept on listening. What the run makes me feel? How's my body feeling? And really that idea of listening to the signs of my body make me understand that I can actually take action. I'm responsible for my health and well-being. I may not be able to cure endometriosis, but I can delay the symptoms. I can live healthily with a condition I may have, but I live healthy with it. Spoiler alert, I do have a child. He is 17 years old. However, I never got pregnant. So the doctor was not completely right. I did had IVFs, as I said. I stopped taking hormones when I realized it's wrong. But after I had my child, I remember again that moment in life that I went, because I used to do with endometriosis, you have to have tests every 6 months to see that the adhesions are not going in. And I went to the doctor and he said, oh, you're completely clean. Now you can get pregnant. And I was like, I'm 40 by now. I'm happy. I have my child. It's all good. I took control of my life and I'm living happily and healthy. And I'm fine with that. So really what I want to leave people with is 2 key things that I live my life with. Since then, in 2007, I launched with my husband a holistic therapy center that really looks at the body and mind and integrates that health and wellness for us as individuals, fully personalized, and allowing people or encouraging individuals to take control of their health. And you don't need to be a millionaire in order to do that. You don't need to spend tons of money and time and resources to live healthily. It's really going into those 3 I's of longevity. One is intuition. Listen to your body. Try and be more in tune. What's happening? How can I make the changes to make it change, feel good? There is so much out there. We live in one of the best eras for health and wellness. You can test and examine everything almost for no cost. Do this diagnostic, check, find out, investigate. You don't need to spend too much time and money to do that. And then implement. Talk to people, implement, do that. And for me, really, it's to look at 5 simple things that really changed my life, because there's so many areas that you can look at. But look at your sleep, look at your diet, look at your exercise, Look at your social life, which is super, super, super important. Keep being happy on that healthy and balance all of that. So be able to kind of like and integrate into those. Thank you.
Wow, what an incredible story. It is so inspiring when I meet women who have taken charge of aspects of their lives that a lot of us hand over to the so called professionals to give us the solutions and the how. But you were really blessed to have a father who set the path for you to follow, right?
Yeah.
Now, you said that you stopped outsourcing your health. What does that mean for women today who feel disconnected from their bodies?
That's a really good question because really my story goes back to 90s and
Mm,
there wasn't really a lot out there. Like endometriosis is really a word that very, very few people knew what it means, and now everybody knows, and unfortunately, too many people have. So it feels like in one end, there is much more information out there, and on the
yes.
other end, women are feeling that they're disconnected, and where do they go in? What I suggest is you don't need to get advice from everybody and everybody. There's so much noise.
Yeah.
But I like the most is like when I didn't get pregnant at age 27, 28, people said, leave that job, you're too stressed. We are all unique beings. Our body is unique. And the
Mm,
first thing, tune in. Tune in, think, was that right for me to do? Was that right for me to do now? Seek advice from people who gives you the information from different dimensions, so not
yeah.
just the medical doctor. Look at a bit more spiritual. Look at a bit like the best friend who lives a bit different life than you. Try
Mm,
and embrace yourself in that wider knowledge and then pick up the things that are right for you. My best example is two of my nieces have endometriosis. They're much younger than me. And I
mm,
remember when Ayelet, my first niece, called me and she's like, I want to have babies. What am I going to do? Da, da, da. And I was like, okay, by then I had my kind of like ritual. So I knew what she needs to do. And I said, 3 months, this is what you do. And I can't promise anything, but at least it will give you connection to your body from
yes.
a way that you understand what's going on. She has 3 kids now. And then the other one,
Oh,
all of the same thing. So again,
wow.
you can't promise because everyone is different, but it's
Yeah.
how you in tuning into yourself. And it's difficult. It's really not magic because there's stress and there's life and things happening. Our body talks to us all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're too busy listening. Yes.
It's just incredible. And to think that your nieces were going to go through the same path. And I'm pretty sure if they had talked about the family history, they would have been told, because it's in the family, this is what you have. This will never happen. And if they had just believed that, they wouldn't have looked for alternatives. So you had actually set the path for them.
Yes, and even
Maybe.
more than that, I'm the youngest child for a massive family. I have 9 brothers and sisters. By the
Okay.
time my mom was there in the hospital, hearing that I won't have children because my gap with my brothers and sisters is huge, she already had grandchildren for most of them. So,
Oh,
in a way,
wow.
if you look at the path, history, you're kind of thinking, how come? Is she
Yeah.
the only one? But then again, when you dig back in, endometriosis, it's not a genetic disease, but no one really knows much about endometriosis. It's a
Yes.
condition. And uh, but my grandma only had 2 kids, and their gap were huge, like 10 years one from the other. So maybe she did had problems. So in a way, it's not really. And epigenetic is like for me the biggest science ever.
Yes.
Everything that we have, most of them, we can actually change our lifestyle.
Yeah.
We delay that interaction with the gene. So it's possible.
So, what I find fascinating about your story is that you combine technology with wellness in your work. How do you see science and intuition working together rather than working against each other?
I think I was very lucky spending almost 2 decades in Microsoft, and I was very techy. So
Okay.
technology since very early age was something I liked. I was
Mhm.
very curious about and I loved. And then when my parallel path in life took me into understanding wellness and our body. And then when I met my husband and he became a psychotherapist and we opened that clinic, it's kind of like
Oh, wow.
merged into what's out there. But there was
Yeah.
a pivot. And there was always like my pain or my dad losing his sight. There was a pivot. And that was COVID. And in COVID, we had a clinic back then by 2020. We had a massive clinic with 15 treatment rooms, with hundreds of therapists doing all different types of therapies, working in integration, offering the clients the best holistic body and
Mhm.
mind, spiritual, mental and physical. And COVID happened and they all went home. So my immediate reaction was like, technology can do a lot of these things. Our body
Yes.
can actually be stimulated in quite natural way using technology. Let's go and see what's out there. And for me, what's out there is not just the technology and some science that's been created, but it's actually looking at ancient ways of treating. Because health
Yes.
and wellness and doctors and we're always there. There was always something there.
We've
People
always
used to
been
go and
there.
do cold water swimming and be so all of these things. Lucky for us, there's so many scientists that took those ancient ways of therapy, that
Mm,
integration of our biology, and put them into amazing technologies, which make it easier for me to pick up the ones that I believed in the most,
yes.
integrate them together, and build my circuit. And that circuit is like, how do I amplify different parts of our biology in order to help you really, really be at your best and regenerate your cells, regenerate your health, and
Mm,
doing it in a great fun. And I'm keeping on saying social and fun. We can't, or I don't believe that we should be obsessed about our health and wellness and then just do that and be completely, because then we don't really live. So what's the point to
has to be
follow the
holistic.
exactly. So it's
Yeah.
all about enjoying life, having that balance,
Mm,
keeping social, interacting with the different things that makes you happy, and making sure that you interact with the things that you realize make you healthy. And
yeah.
that's the idea.
So many women only start listening to their bodies after a crisis. How can we learn to tune in before it gets that far?
I was actually surprised by really young generation now.
Yeah.
Gen Z are have more in tune. So it's either listening to their parents' stories, looking at us,
Yeah.
and they're
Okay.
or yeah, or being exposed to way too much information. That's the other
Yeah.
or. And they have more curiosity of understanding the thing. So I've been in a group that was actually not that long ago, and I've been invited. There is a group of women health, and what I really loved, when everybody are focused on menopause, 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 menopause. Yes, it is a period in life that we need to be prepared to, and we need to go through, and there is a lot of help we needed. But they actually focused on younger girls. So they focused on age 17 to 25, understanding your cycle. I loved it.
Oh,
And
wow.
I love the idea that someone actually saying, you need to understand being a woman and your body as a woman very early, especially now where the trends are insane, like wellness and longevity trends. Majority of them are based on men,
Yeah.
and young women are going and jumping in, and then it's not right to our hormones, it's not right to us. So really, this is when I was so happy to see that there is a shift. And actually, maybe thanks to you and exposing to other people, more and more of those groups needs to be out there, because the girls are curious.
Yeah.
We
That
just
is
need
so
to give them
good.
that path.
Now, you talk about making longevity accessible. What does true accessibility in wellness look like to you?
It's simple. It starts with really, really, really simple changes. I'll go back to my dad. He stopped eating things that are high in sugar, so they give him that changes. He started exercising, which he didn't do before. He was
Yes.
never meditating, but he stopped smoking. So
Okay.
he looked at back then in the 80s, what were the things around him that may
Yeah.
be affecting that. So I did the same things in the 90s. How do I clean my body? So sometimes it's really tiny little changes.
Yeah.
When I said my 5 S's, really think of your strength, think of your exercise, and do a tiny. If you don't exercise every day, start with 5 minutes.
Yes.
Start with something that
No,
you're not doing.
changes.
Yeah, walk the dog.
Yeah.
Prioritize your sleep, not every day, not all the time, but allow your body to recover.
Yeah.
Allow your body to kind of like digest everything it's exposed to. Um,
Yes.
and as I said, those tiny little things like exercise, food. I'm very foodie. I love food. But when I realized throughout life that different types of food are actually regenerating the wrong things in my body,
Yeah.
and nowadays definitely you can swap them with other things. There's so
Yes.
much. So
Variety.
it's simple. And yes,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of technology, and there's a lot of ways to interact with things that are out there everywhere we are, and
So,
and yes, and you can pick up
so
do the things.
what are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about biohacking and longevity?
People think it's expensive. It's only for rich people. It's not
Mm,
available, and it's not for them. Like
yeah.
in a way, it's that something out there for the stars, for the Netflix,
Yes.
for the rich people who can afford. I'm completely out of that. Even when the circuit that we've put in place, yeah, the
Mm,
machines are super expensive, but interacting with the machines, coming and buying ticket and doing the circuit is not that expensive at all. And I
okay.
remember at the beginning when we launched, people said, "Oh, but that's going to be so expensive." And I was like, "No, the reason I didn't put it in a massive, expensive luxury place is to reduce that price, is to
Yeah.
enable you to come and interact with the technology." And the more and more of my colleagues that will go ahead and make that available to others, the more
Yes.
and more people can actually live healthy. How
Um,
boring the world will be if only rich people will live forever. It's kind of like
so true.
so
So
it is
true.
for everybody. And I think if I'm
So,
disrupting the market in that, it's calling out for everyone out there who does wellness and longevity and develop those amazing things is actually
mm,
think about how do I make it available for everyone. And for us as educator to those everyone, just say, come and try. Don't be afraid. It's not going to be that expensive and it's not going to be that difficult. Some of it will be quite fun.
so, what daily rituals or micro habits anchor your health and your mindset?
I, again, being such a doer and working in corporate for so many years,
Mm,
meditation is something that took me forever to to integrate with. And I know I was hearing people saying this is the most important thing. I still
yeah.
can't meditate more than 5 minutes, and I now part of new technology that does quite amazing things and allow me to meditate 11 minutes because it's kind of taking over my brain a bit. But
Okay.
so I'm using technology. But I think one key ritual, if I won't call it meditate, I'll call it stop, pause. 1 minute pause, breathe.
Mm,
You can restart. You slow down. Your body got a message. So really integrate tiny little things. Pause, exercise. Exercise at any age, at any way. Think of yourself running, playing football with your grandchildren. You want to do that. Imagine that and do something that enable you to do more and more and more today. Eat protein. I can never say enough about protein. Eat
Mm-hmm.
proteins. It's so important. Any type of protein. Uh,
Yeah.
it's important. Our body need the fuel. Make sure you're listening, what's missing, what you need to add, and do that. Do those simple things. And I'll say again and again, sanitarians in blue zones didn't have so much money. They're not millionaires. They're riding their horses. They live in nature. They drink great wine with their families, and they live till 100 and plus.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
so
think
true.
about that and implement.
So, how can women over 50 reframe aging as a power and not a decline?
It's an amazing power. So, um, don't give in to all these changes. Take control on the changes. They're happening. They will happen. They're happening to men as well, but they're kind of like, it's cool to have gray hair. So, but take control on those. Implement the things that are right for you. Surround yourself with people that makes you feel great.
Yes.
And most of the time, it's actually younger people. So younger people seeing
So
women in their
true.
50s when they're active and they look good, they just great being with. Surround yourself with people that makes you feel alive, young, good. Do things that makes you feel alive, young, and good. Those and again, seek um, help or advice in the things that right for you. Menopause can be for some people, they don't even have symptoms. You still need to take something. Your hormones are depleting. So when you're 60, something will be missing. Think
Yeah.
of what's happening to your body, even if it's not shouting out, and engage with the relevant things. So it can be some sort of HRT, it can be body identical hormones, it can be stop running, don't walk on adrenaline because you're regenerating, be mindful for your hormones, do recovery. So really, really integrate with the things that reconnect you back to the new you. But it's an amazing new you, experienced, powerful, beautiful, out there, in peace with who you are, and keeping on being young and wonderful. So it's about really, again, they're going to that balance, but to that, look at yourself in a mirror and
Yeah.
think, this is me. And that's what makes me happier, whatever makes you happier. And this is what I'm going to do. And surround yourself with people who makes you happy.
My last two questions are a bit of a thought experiment. In the first one, I'm going to teleport you back to the younger you, the young woman who was given this diagnosis that sounded like it was the end of your young life at 24. Just in case there's someone young who has been told they're ill, is at the beginning of their wellness journey, you could go back and give yourself three nuggets of wisdom based on what life has taught you up until this point. What would those three nuggets of wisdom be?
Um, I think the first thing, and that's a difficult one, don't stress out. Um, there's always other ways out there, and diagnostic can be horrible. Understand the diagnostic. Trust your intuition, reconnect to your body, and don't stress out, because sometimes we're just giving up and responding too quickly when we stress out. If we reconnect, you get your intuition, and then from a different place, investigate and research and do the right thing for you. For me, in that moment, I felt the black sheep, in addition to I won't have children and life, and because I have so many brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews. And how do you survive in that family? It wasn't a life and death diagnostic, but it was quite a tough one. And isolating myself from the noise, and there's a lot of out there and now there's more, and trying to intuitively go into the, listen to my body and take the right steps and connect to the right people that I needle picked through the way, that I learned and understand they're the professionals in their field. And I trust and I want to to walk with them, to personalize the ways for my body. There's so much out there nowadays. It's probably going to be a bit disruptive as a person who say, always go and diagnose things. Find out about how your body works. If something's wrong, it's always better to know it early, because there's so much science out there that can help you extend your lifespan.
I love it. Next question is futuristic. I'm going to teleport you into the future, and we are going to go and sit with a 90-year-old you.
Okay.
She is sitting in her rocking chair, surrounded by her children, her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren, whoever's going to be with you at the end. If I could teleport you into the future to meet this wise woman who has led you up until this point, what will you say to her when you finally meet her?
I would say thank you for being kind for yourself, and thank you for allowing the wisdom that you inherited to lead you to the path, build the journey that allows you to be here and inspiring so many people to be able to live the same way.
That is beautiful. Yep, she is guiding you. She's that little whisper that says, go left, go right, say yes, say no. And you're very in tune with her. And I hope the women who are listening to this podcast will learn something today to trust that inner voice. A lot of times when we get ill, we know our bodies are talking to us all the time, but we brush it aside. We get busy. We're mothers, we're wives. So learn to tune in and hear your body talking to you. Thank you so much for coming online and sharing your story with us today. I have your website at the bottom of the screen. If anybody wants to connect with you, is that the best way they can find you?
Yes, and my name, Michal, Michal, @vidavi.com. So that's my email. Feel free to email me directly. I'm always happy to, answer questions. We're running some social events on weekends. So everybody welcome to learn more about the different amazing things that are out there from all those amazing professionals.
And is there anything I should have asked you and I didn't?
I think, so you asked me about thinking of the old me, and I think the question about my child, I do have one child, 17, and the question that I'm having a child growing into a family of wellness, how does that affect him growing up?
Yes.
And that's beautiful to see as evolving into and the choices that we made. And I think for parents, so that's really a message for parents. Our kids, as we do, as I did, end of the day, follow the way my dad dealt with his disease. They do follow. It doesn't feel like it, definitely not when they're teens.
Yeah.
But put those seeds that are the right seeds, that are your beliefs, for them to be able to follow a healthy life as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We're a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of women from all over the world. We share our stories to uplift you, to inspire you, to energize you, but most importantly, to take you from where you are now to where you're trying to go. So if you are a woman who's experiencing any health issues or you know someone who is, please share this podcast. Reach out, get the help and the support that you need. You don't have to do it alone. I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And thanks again for the interview, Michal.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Bye for now, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.